Hey everyone, welcome to Zeitgeist Zealots. I'm Forrest.
Well, Major's not here with us today, and I'm Robbie.
Matt.
And I'm Tip.
I think today we missed last weekend, so we're going to go over the Hawkeye finale and I believe the Book of Boba Fett. And I'm sure everyone saw the new Batman trailer because it was in the group chat, so we're going to talk about that.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah, some
Totally.
great episodes.
So if you haven't watched it, maybe now might be the time. So the Hawkeye finale, I guess the big takeaway was we finally got to see the debut of Kingpin in the MCU.
Yay.
Yeah,
And,
they got right
last-
into Kingpin.
And they
right from the start.
they just beat the ever living shit out of him in this episode. He got blown from one side of the room to the next.
Yeah, he kept getting back up, just shrugging it off.
He was dressed
because he's freaking invulnerable.
He was dressed like a pimp. He looked like Kramer from the episode where he gets the amazing Technicolor wardrobe.
I will say this. I kind of love how Disney has pivoted and listened to the fans, because WandaVision didn't release the big baddie Mephisto. Winter Soldier and, that guy didn't release the big baddie. And then Loki, we're finally getting Kang. And now we finally got Kingpin, which is what we all wanted. So
Yes.
Although I do think Mephisto was never part of the plan in WandaVision. I think people just just got crazy with rumors. Yeah, people on the internet were just like, it has to be Mephisto, and if it's not, and the rumor is like, wait, he was never supposed to be in. So, but I think Kang was always, I think, going to be in Loki,
part of the plan.
And Kingpin was always going to be in Hawkeye. So we had basically three final battles at the end with Kate and Kingpin, Echo and Kazi, and Yelena and Hawkeye. And thank goodness Hawkeye knew how to whistle, because he would have been a dead man otherwise.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. That was
That special whistle.
And
they started showing off some trick arrows again.
Well, I think it's funny how none of us, I think, actually liked Black Widow, the movie, and to somehow shoehorn in something that makes it so you have to watch that movie now is hilarious.
That's true. They forced us. They forced our hand.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially the last episode where Yelena was she showed up, and then she got snapped, and then she came back to life. So.
Well, talk about, the episode before the last one, talk about a cliffhanger where it ends with, hey, I found out who hired me to kill Hawkeye, and sending it to Kate Bishop. And then you're like, oh man, it's a lot more here than I thought. So, definitely really well done. So,
yeah.
So you like this finale?
Yes, I do, for several reasons. Even though it's not up to the comic standards, it's funny because usually I'm a stickler about it. I thought it was really well played out. The fact that Jacques Duquesne is just this dude who likes swords, I think is beyond hilarious. How they didn't tie in his history with Hawkeye, but at the end when all the LARPers and him are trying to get all the people out, I thought was funny, more so for the fact that the bros showed up with baseball bats and guns, and all of a sudden some of the bros have swords, so I thought that was hilarious. But it was done really well, I feel.
Yes, thank God none of them were actually armed.
Yeah.
Or he would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Unless he could dodge bullets with his sword like a Jedi does. Blasters.
Oh yeah, he had that one Pym arrow that shrinks people. What if he used that on Kingpin?
Oh, that's why
that,
I know. I sent y'all a picture
meme.
about that. Yeah, I sent y'all that meme. Yeah, so it's the owl carries him away. They saw on the tree.
Yeah, instead of picking up the truck.
Yeah.
What happens to him now?
And they still don't understand the whole rules that they established in Ant-Man, where the weight doesn't change when you shrink something down.
Yeah, that has been a huge
because the owl carried them off.
Well, I think you pointed out the other podcast that I was on about the tank keychain shouldn't be able to be kept in his pocket.
Yeah.
So
I care about that as much as Fox cared about continuity in the X-Men films. It's just like, he does not care. Like, they don't even have, it's like, whatever.
When it comes to vehicles, it doesn't matter.
He's put on the Ant-Man franchise. Anyway, so I'm guessing, so it sort of ended, spoiler, with Kingpin basically coming back. It's funny, in the comics, Echo shoots him in the face and he just goes blind. So, when they bring him back, I don't know if there's going to be a Daredevil solo series or show up in She-Hulk. I think it's been all but confirmed. And because I don't want to spoil, has everyone seen No Way Home?
Wait,
No, I have
but
not.
hold on.
Don't spoil it for me.
Daredevil is like one of the coolest superheroes, and they're going to relegate him to like a She-Hulk movie.
Yes, he's going to become She-Hulk. She-Hulk's going to have her own Disney Plus series, and Matt Murdock, and because she's a lawyer, we lost Matt. Because she's a lawyer, that's why I think people think he's going to show up in She-Hulk. But we'll see. I'm sure Kingpin's going to come back in some shape or form. Did anyone have anything else on Hawkeye? I think I was worried that he was going to retire at the end of the series, but it looks like he's not. He's the door is open for him to come back if he wants to, and Kate isn't really replacing him. She's just going to be another chick called Hawkeye. So I guess they're just going to coexist as Hawkeyes. So, or did y'all feel he's hanging up his bow at the end of this episode?
Or maybe he'll continue as Hawkeye.
Oh, okay. And Kate will be Hawk Gal.
That's right.
Now
Hawkeye and Hawk Gal.
Now I know that Matt wasn't happy with the after credits scene. Were y'all happy with it? A re-edition or a reprise of the I Could Do This All Day? Robbie, I think you're the only one who's seen this. So
I'm trying to.
Did you even stay after the credits?
I think I did. I'm trying to think of.
I didn't even finish it. I just fast forwarded to see if there's anything else, and there was. I'm like, okay, I'm done. So, I don't know. I mean, I was sort of disappointed, but not every Marvel property needs an after credits scene. They don't need a setup. I mean, they did enough setting. Just Lena, Echo, Kingpin. So much setup in the actual show that they probably had nothing left for the after credits. So, but yeah. So I don't know. I'd probably rank this show under Loki and WandaVision, but above Falcon and Winter Soldier. Would y'all agree with that ranking?
Yeah, I'd definitely have it above Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
I feel as though the
Loki.
cinematic aesthetic and the quality of the productional.
It did surprise me how good it was.
I will say this: once you accept the fact that these are engines for exposition dumps and to introduce new characters,
basically
shows, because Echo's going to get a new show, Elena's going to be in New Avengers,
or Thunderbolts, something like that.
Or Thunderbolts or something like that. And so, overall, once you turn your mind off and just realize that this is just a bridge to the movies, then I think it works really well. As a side note, though, I hated the after credit scene, but I think it's hilarious that
it was just that whole play.
Somebody from Broadway was probably brought in to create this. Actors and dancers had to practice this. And so, at the end of the day, I find it hilarious that people actually had to commit to this, and in the end, it's just a throwaway gag.
It was probably
I just sat there and watched it, thinking something was gonna happen. But
they put a lot of work into it. They wanted to show it all in its entirety, even though, I was like, I get it. It's the Avengers was very successful, and it wasn't even the thing that sort of not take me off, but my one little pet peeve was like it's called Rogers the Musical, but it was very much an Avengers musical.
Yep. But
you know?
the other thing too is that it's funny because they shoehorn Ant-Man in, and in the original idea, Ant-Man was supposed to be developed, and his movie was supposed to be released, and he was supposed to be in the Battle of New York, but because his movie got developed, like pushed back so much, he was taken out of that battle. And I think it's funny how it's like Marvel acknowledging that, you know, production dates got screwed up, and this is what originally was supposed to happen, but what ended up not actually happening.
Yeah, because Edgar Wright was I think he like wrote and was gonna direct it, but I don't know, he either had some other stuff he had to do, like Scott Pilgrim, or one of the Simon Pegg movies. So, but I think I don't know. From what I hear, like they gave him like a lot of opportunities, and he was like, "I got to do my own thing." I think he was like had enough pull on Hollywood to where Feige couldn't really like, you know, not boss him around. But you know, I think that's why they went with Peyton Reed, who had basically like not as enough clout to like, you know. And a lot of times, you know, a lot of these Marvel directors are just like fresh off of doing like an indie movie.
But that's the thing, you know, I think Major and I have gotten in this debate before. Feige, I feel, purposely picks these new directors who've done independent films, who've never done something on the scale, so that way he has so much control over everything. Yeah. And it's kind of frustrating at times because I think there's a better vision than Feige's vision. But
I would like more altruistic superhero films, like the Nolan films, and I guess Joker, even though it's like, you know.
But I guess that helps you avoid what's happening with DC right now, with, you know, and
they just gave
Star
Zack
Wars.
Snyder. Zack Snyder was like, "All right, here, we're gonna let you do Superman," and he was like, "Okay, I did the first one, and like, now I'm gonna do all of them." You know, we're not even gonna like, you know, give them their own movies. We're just gonna like do all of them. We're gonna introduce them all with the Batman movie, even though like the last Batman movie came out like 4 years ago. So,
but you know, like, you know, Star Wars, you know, like when you have directors,
no plan.
You know, and they're like, I'm gonna do it my way. You know, screw your vision. So I guess it kind of like makes it more consistent, but at the same time too, I just really don't agree with Feige's vision. So
yeah, I mean, I think just some of his ideas, just like, you know, I think the Thor movies should have been like more epic in scale, and they're sort of just like Doctor Who-ish, and you know, more than Lord of the Rings.
But
yeah,
I love
cheese crust.
I love Taika Waititi. I love him.
It was great, but it wasn't really a Thor movie. It was just sort of like a weird, you know, space gladiator movie. It wasn't really, and like, plus it was merged with Planet Hulk. So it's like, but it was good. It worked. And Chris Hemsworth is funny, but like Thor isn't really supposed to be a comedian. You know, they can't all be comedians. Like Iron Man can be funny, Spider-Man can be funny. They can't all be funny. Yeah. You know, but I don't know. I enjoyed Ragnarok was probably the best of the three. That really tells you just how, you know, dull the first two were. But you know, it wasn't really what I wanted from the Thor movie after reading the comics. But you know, I don't know. Someday these are all gonna get everything's gonna be rebooted in 20 years anyway. So we'll see.
Wow, Forrest, that's
I mean, they rebooted Batman twice within the past 10 years. So
just look at Spider-Man. We're on our third Spider-Man since.
Yeah, now I'm like tired. Now I have Spider-Man fatigue too, as well as Batman fatigue. So
get Spider-Man out.
But that's what I love about these shows. I'm starting to appreciate is you can do the origin story in the shows on Disney, and then when we get to the movies, it's like, okay, you should know all this already. So
that's true. So I do like the new stuff.
Go
like
get a Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah, exactly.
To catch up.
So, so Matt, you agree with the ranking? Loki, WandaVision, Hawkeye, Falcon and Winter Soldier, or would you mix it up?
I would say Loki, then Hawkeye. I really have, even though it was only 6 episodes, I really appreciated Hawkeye a lot more than WandaVision. But definitely Winter Soldier is dead last. That was
WandaVision had a lot more intrigue, I think, for me, because everyone was like thinking, "Oh, Reed Richards, Mephisto," and it wasn't let down. But as I was watching it, it was enjoyable. But yeah,
I will say when the first 3 weeks, when you're trying to figure out what's going on, and the fact that it was the first show out there, it was very intriguing. But then it just became kind of, you know, meh. At the end, and the ending really was just like
that's where the budget went.
You know, it was frustrating because at the end, the ending really killed WandaVision, I feel. but if you kind of on just like the first 2 or 3 episodes, WandaVision was amazing. Because they were definitely trying to do something unique, and I love that. But at the end of the day, it just didn't live up to what it was supposed to deliver.
Yeah, I mean, the Quicksilver reveal at the very end was lame.
Yeah,
but I'm not upset that Mephisto wasn't in it. Because that was just like the internet going crazy with theories that wasn't ever part of the show. I think. But and also I will, and also the engineer that's supposed to be a big deal, who was just a nobody. So that was like also they shouldn't have hyped it up, and they probably should have just said we discussed this like a year ago, but the showrunner should have been like it's not what you think. Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the show for what it is. Okay, I mean, so Hawkeye, do you think will be season 2? Because I don't think he hung up his bow. I don't think he's retired. It didn't really seem that way.
I don't think there'll be a season 2, but there'll be some future, show in which he comes as a supporting character.
Yeah.
Or
maybe another Avengers movie with Kang. I'm guessing he'll show up. Might get killed then. I mean, hey, it's gonna happen. They're getting old. He's in his 50s now. So I would like to see season 2 where he takes on Crossfire, or the Death Rose, or his brother Trickshot shows up, because those would be characters delving more into his past, which I haven't really done at all. Like, they were way more interested in Yelena's past, and Echo's past, and Kate Bishop's past. They really weren't interested in exploring the main character of the show it was named after. But I mean, if they do season 2, I would like to see those aspects explored more.
Like I said, the whole point of the show is to be a bridge for what's coming in the future, and Hawkeye is obviously not.
And that's why I didn't enjoy
Hawkeye,
it. And that's probably why I didn't enjoy it as much as probably y'all did.
It was like Kate Bishop was really the main character.
Yeah. If they just did like a page adaptation of like the Matt Fraction comic, like no Echo, no Swordsman, no Kingpin, just focus on Kate and Clint versus the Tracksuit Mafia, make Kazi an actual character. That would have been good on its own. Like, it should have been like a short, like a small self-contained story. We didn't need like introduce 3 characters. Well, I had to introduce Kate Bishop, obviously, but I didn't need to introduce Echo or continue to reintroduce Yelena. So it could have been a lot better, but it wasn't awful. I would just give this like it was an acceptable show. But I think a lot of people, including myself, were just like, But I liked that Kingpin was in it, although he was more cartoonish than he was in the Netflix shows.
No, I agree.
But hey, I think he's happy to be back, and he looked great. He looked a lot bigger, I guess. So yeah, we'll see. Looking forward to seeing him come back. Maybe he'll come back in the Echo show. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see. All right, so let's move on to another Disney Plus show, Book of Boba Fett. I'd say this was another adequate episode. Wasn't amazing. You weren't.
I really liked the scenes with his past with the Tusken Raiders.
See, that was just like, okay, I know what's going to happen. He's going to gain their acceptance, but I was just sort of like, I'm more interested in what's happening in the present.
Not to go on a rant here, but I was actually sitting down at a brewery the other day with one of my good friends, and being one of these guys who loves the original like THX enhanced, maybe the first round of special editions, and then somebody who read extensively on the expanded universe. I absolutely hate Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
And Boba Fett has 3 minutes and 23 seconds of screen time in all the films. He has.
So you just don't like the character,
but
by itself.
I don't understand how Star Wars fans, and there's characters I'm obsessed with. Like, I love Wedge Antilles, but he's explored more in the expanded universe than he is in the movies. So the Star Wars fans latch onto these like really obscure characters and then make them up into these big heroes. And Boba Fett was one growing up that I absolutely hated. He dies in the Sarlacc pit. I don't care what you say. And it's a fan theory, and I think it's hilarious. It was always a fan theory growing up that he was able to get out of the Sarlacc pit in the manner that he did. And I think it's funny how Disney has used this fan theory now to make it how he gets out of the Sarlacc pit. Now, one of the things I hated was George Lucas doing the special editions and then the special editions. One of the things I actually loved about him tweaking it, though, is in Return of the Jedi in the special editions when they did a DVD release. The Sarlacc pit is actually a creature that comes out and eats Boba Fett. He doesn't just fall in; he eats, people. So now you see it's like an actual creature, just to kill the fan theory of Boba Fett escapes the Sarlacc pit, because he does not. So the very premise of the show has me full of nerd rage.
Well, I will say that I find Boba Fett's survival more plausible than Darth Maul's survival. How do you feel about Darth Maul's being alive?
Well,
That's stupid too. I think, yeah, exactly. That's why I had a problem with that. Like, if Darth Maul comes back, then Boba Fett should be able to come back.
Well, the lightsaber obviously sears off the wound immediately. It's like cauterizing it. So, no, I'm joking.
Okay. I think it's just like, if you want me to buy Darth Maul being alive, that's a stretch. But if I have to buy that, then by extension, by logic, I should be able to buy Boba Fett coming back. But I was just like, sort of like, I know he sold a lot of toys, so that's why he's so popular, not because of his actual contribution to the actual original trilogy of the story, but he sold so many toys, so Lucas made him a big deal in the prequels.
It was also one of the best lightsaber battles, when they kept it like real fast paced and good, and threw in some real trick moves in there. And
Boba Fett?
No, with Darth Maul.
Oh, okay.
Because you notice, like in the later Star Wars, and Disney took over.
Well, I'm sure
they started getting slower, and it seemed like anybody could pick up a lightsaber.
Well, do y'all think is Darth Maul alive in this time period, or was he killed in Rebels? I think I heard. So was he dead?
He is, because in Han Solo, remember, they introduced him. The Solo movie, they introduced him at the end of that movie, when I forget her name. At the end takes over.
The Game of Thrones chick,
yeah.
So he runs Crimson Dawn, or does he run another crime syndicate?
No, so she runs Crimson Dawn, but he's like a bigger, baddie, I guess.
Oh, okay. So he might show up, you think, in this show?
I surely hope not. I really, really, really.
Well, I think he's going to show up in Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's either going to show up in this or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because I think he wants payback. So I'm trying to think.
What I found funny about watching this episode, though, and just to pull out my inner Brian Posehn, my wife kept asking me questions, and I would have to pause. So this 50-minute show actually took us like an hour and a half to watch, because my wife was like, "Hey, is he a Mandalorian?" And they're like, "No, he's not actually. In fact, the issue is that Jango Fett stole Mandalorian armor, but it was retconned in this in the Mandalorian and this, that, and the other thing." And it's funny, trying to explain all the backstory and be like, "Well, in the expanded universe, this, but in Disney's version, no." So
yeah, I'm just wondering. If the Crimson, do you think the Crimson Dawn attacked them in the episode? That's what I'm wondering. Do you think Emilia Clarke's character is behind the attack, or do you think it's someone else?
I think it's, what they're setting it up to be is the mayor is in charge, and the mayor is going to try to take a bigger part. So, but that also leads me into my next issue, is that in the expanded universe, Jabba the Hutt is one of the Hutts. There is this whole part of the universe carved out called Hutt Space, which the Hutts are a crime syndicate. And if one Hutt is killed, another Hutt's going to come to Tatooine and take over. So that I'm interested to see if that plays anything, because it's not like, oh, well, Jabba the Hutt's dead, so there's this huge vacuum. No, the Hutts would send one of his nephews.
Pizza the Hutt.
Yeah, exactly. Pizza the Hutt. Baseball. I'm a Mog. I'm my own best friend.
Yeah, I was thinking the mayor is. Do you think the mayor is a Hutt?
No, I think the mayor is a Twi'lek, unfortunately.
A what?
A Twi'lek.
What's that?
So his ambassador, the with the two long things that hang down from their head, those are Twi'leks.
Okay.
And
there's a lot of them in this episode, and they're apparently different colors. There's a yellow one, there's a green one.
As a side note, I never thought of myself as a racist person, but I hate Rhodians. Because Greedo.
Whoa!
Greedo was the Rhodian, and it was
who are the Rhodians again?
And then the Rodian in this episode tries to, even though I hate Boba Fett, the Rodian tries to sell out Boba Fett there.
Yeah, that was so stupid. What was he expecting? It's like, this guy's trying to free you, and I guess he thought if he rat on Boba Fett, they'd let him go.
Yeah.
Was that his logic? Okay.
I guess
well, he got
so.
killed
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
Because then he finds out he can understand him. Or at least
Greedo's
part of
brother, Dumbo. So
One shot first.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. So they took on Goro in the last scene.
So apparently that creature is called a behemoth.
Okay. It was big. I like that it went from having 4 arms to having 2 arms, and it walked on 4 legs. So it went from
he stood up on his far back feet.
he became a centaur.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But yeah, there's definitely a homage to Princess Leia killing Jabba when he killed him with the chain. So, but it seems that they're going to accept him into the Tusken Society, because apparently at the end of in Mandalorian season 2, he's gone full Tusken because he's got that little
He's got
staff
the long stick
that the other guy had. So,
But
I'm thinking that guy's going to die. He's going to take his staff to honor him or whatever. So
so they're inducting him into Tusken Society, so they're gonna fix him some new with some.
yeah.
But Forrest, you make a kind of point that
Salad.
I'm very hung up about Star Wars and what's killing Star Wars right now. When George Lucas was making the prequels, he made the prequels to reflect the original trilogy, because he wanted to prove that time was cyclical. History always repeats itself, right? And that was his whole goal. And so basically the first 3 movies reflect, the prequels, reflected in the prequels. And that's what killed the sequels. Is literally, episode, 7 is A New Hope rehashed.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 8 is trying to leave you on that balance of empire. And so to have that homage to how Leia kills Jabba, I feel is what's going to ultimately do Star Wars in. We can't constantly reflect on this cyclical nature. We need to get away from that. We need to do something original. We need to do something different than just rehashing the same story over and over and over again.
Yeah. I don't know, but it was entertaining enough to make you want to see more. I do think Boba Fett's, he was just he got shot one time. He's like, quick, take me back to the bath.
It's a bad
He's like, yeah, I guess, really you couldn't last a little bit longer. So I don't know. That was good.
Well, I will say this.
I don't know if he's all the way healed or not.
First off, I will say this. Fennec is a bad actor, but I love how we finally showed Gamorreans doing something.
Oh yeah, they didn't do much in Return of the Jedi, and they kind of look like he has 2 Shrek bodyguards.
But I just think it's funny
Those
because
are the Sodoms.
They were bodyguards for Jabba the Hutt,
mm-hmm.
and then for Bib Fortuna, another Twi'lek, and then those guys
really?
obviously died. Yeah, Bib Fortuna is a Twi'lek.
Oh, because he had one tentacle over his collarbone and one behind. I thought he was a different race.
I might be wrong there. I have to look that one up actually.
Maybe they're distantly related. His race, but
the fact that we finally show Gamorreans doing something, because even in the Mandalorian, when he goes to, I think he goes to Tatooine. I forget.
The in-credit scene, because they teased the show.
Yeah, and where there's that battle fighting UFC thing, and they just kick he just kills all the Gamorreans. I'm finally happy to see Gamorreans get the respect they deserve.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm thinking the mayor might be a Hutt, or isn't Jabba's son Rada still alive? So it might be him.
I don't know, because once again we're getting rid of the expanded universe, but Disney tends to pick some good ideas. We have Thrawn now.
Oh yeah, they brought him back for Rebels, but I think he's going to show up in Ashoka. But I'm also thinking that was in the Clone Wars movie that started the Clone Wars show, the 3D one. So I think he might be alive in this universe. So I would not be surprised if we saw a Hutt, either him or some other Hutt, in this show. So it's only 6 episodes, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was adequate. I didn't really care for the flashbacks. I know, Rob, you like them, but I'm just like, I know what's going to happen. He's just going to become part of the Tusken Raiders. But I don't know. Maybe they can make it more interesting for me. I
wonder if they're going to kill him.
Boba Fett?
Come on. But you know what I mean? Like, when you do those, things, like, the suspense is very limited because it's like, I wonder how he's going to survive.
That's true. It's like, we know what's going to happen. He's, he makes it. So I'm way more interested in, like, the present day stuff. So, what? So, so how about we talk about the new Batman trailer? Did everyone see that? I'm sure.
The third how many are there now?
I watched the third. I watched two of them.
It was the one that just came out. The one that came out this week. It's like called The Bat and the Cat.
Oh, with Cat. Yeah.
It was. I put it in the group chat. So I think this was better than the second trailer. It definitely. I mean, it showed more, obviously, but I think it definitely. The focus of the trailer was like on Batman and Catwoman's relationship, and I think I'm gonna like Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman more than Anne Hathaway's. I think she definitely embodies the character better.
About Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, I know. It was just sort of like, we got to have Catwoman in one of these things. So yeah, I think her Catwoman is very forgettable.
Do you think she'll be better than Michelle Pfeiffer?
I like Michelle Pfeiffer's a lot. Definitely, she was definitely unhinged and stuff. I think that's what Catwoman should be. Like, she's not completely evil, but she's still, a bad guy. And
she's a cat lady.
Chaotic neutral.
Come on.
Yeah.
Of course she's unhinged.
She's a bit unhinged and, devious, but I don't know. It's like the comics are like way more focused on getting them to hook up than like making her an actual, villain. It's like, Harley Quinn isn't even like, or Poison Ivy aren't even villains anymore. They just want to hook Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy up these days. So I don't know.
Are you talking about lesbian kind of?
Oh yeah, I mean, you watch the Harley Quinn TV show, like they're like a couple, like they're like the main love story in the show. So
they're kind of.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of wish Catwoman would be more of like an antagonist in this, but it looks like they're just going to be like partners. So.
Well, I will say this: that preview, I actually think we finally found a really good Riddler.
It's
well done.
Very interesting take. He's like basically the Zodiac killer in this, with a little bit of
smart, not goofy.
Yeah, a little bit like John Doe and from Seven mixed with Lee Harvey Oswald because he has that rifle.
Yeah,
I think he's trying to assassinate the mayoral candidate in the trailer. So, definitely like it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting take. I'm not crazy that he talks so slow. It's like Bruce Wayne. And, I don't know.
I get that. Was he trying to copy like Bane or something?
What was that? I didn't hear you.
Was he trying to copy Bane or something with that? The way he's talking.
I don't know. It's just I think the way he talks is like he's out of breath. And I mean, I like Paul Dano a lot. He was great in There Will Be Blood. I think he was also in 12 Years a Slave. And he was also in Prisoners, playing like another creepy guy. But I don't know. I think it'll be good. They're definitely, I get what they're basing him off of. I think he's a good actor, and usually in the movies he's in, he squeals a lot. So I'm sure when Batman's beating up, he's going to squeal. But I think from what I saw in the trailer, like he's going to be an orphan too, or something like that. But I think this whole movie is just set up for the Court of Owls. I think so. That's why he's trying to expose corruption in Gotham. The Riddler is. And
that last trailer's up to 20.7 million views.
Yeah, so I think it should be interesting. There's like a scene where I think some bombs go off and the streets become flooded. Like that's straight out of Zero. That's straight out of Zero Year. Like basically where he tries to turn Gotham into like a post-apocalyptic landscape by like flooding it and like setting off like Poison Ivy's plant growth formula. So like all the cities, it looks like it's like 100 years after an apocalypse. Like there's just like overgrowth everywhere and like flooded streets and electricity. So I think they're getting that from like 0 year, but I don't know. It looks good. So
yeah,
I guess he's also like based off Jigsaw Killer because I guess they have to solve puzzles or they'll get themselves killed or solve riddles. So. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do, like I said before, I do have a little Batman fatigue. I think they basically like Warner Brothers is just too reliant on Batman, and they just reboot him too quickly. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Honestly, I think I have DC fatigue because I feel it's the same guys over and over again, and it's the same origin story over and over again.
Yeah. Hopefully, they will not show his parents being killed again. Just like we get it, they died. You can just mention it in passing. But yeah.
Dang, Forrest.
What? I don't want to see his parents get killed. Like Tips is like I want to see two people get shot. What's wrong with you, Forrest? I don't want to see people get shot. Sorry, Tip. I know that makes me a weirdo. So,
Man, don't you have a heart?
I don't want to see people get killed, Tip. So yes.
Don't you have a mindless thirst for vengeance?
Yeah,
and
really.
Blood.
I get it. I've seen it we've seen it like 4 times already. So,
one time as cartoons.
That's true. So I think this is like the first DC movie coming out next. Or wait, no, Peacemaker's coming out next month or this month actually.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll definitely have to discuss that in the podcast. Then I think Black Adam's coming out.
Batman no longer excites me.
I'm getting a little bit fatigued. I think this movie will be good though. I think
come up with some like nasty villain who's crazed and psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
There's throw something different. What about a villain who's like, good intentioned or something? Not a complete psychopath all the time.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if this gets a sequel.
I like the misguided zealot.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, that's basically, I guess, Ra's al Ghul in a nutshell.
Oh yeah.
He's just sort of like he has good intent. Well, he's like he's trying. I think he's like an eco-terrorist too. But that's basically all I have for today. Do you have any other thoughts? Anything that came out today you want to chat or just say this was good? I saw Cobra Kai this weekend. It was really good. And if you watched that,
I meant to see Cobra Kai.
Yeah, so I think they're definitely gonna have a 5th season. So if that's what you're hoping this will be the last one, sorry. But yeah, I enjoyed it, Cobra Kai. So it's a nice little show. But I think that's all we got for today. So
well, Happy New Year's to all our fans.
Yeah, Happy New Year's to our fans. So we're almost like I think we started this podcast on Inauguration Day last year. That was January. So we're almost at a year anniversary of this thing. So pretty cool that we've kept it going. Oh
yeah, that's right. The Inauguration Day, the infamous.
Yes. So I was like, seems like a good day to start. We were just like, it seems like a good day to start a podcast. America's, there's an insurrection going. Seems like a good day to start a podcast. So.
Oh, shit.
We'll start our own insurrection.
And then, yeah. Well, I'm Forrest.
Matt.
And I'm Robbie.
And I'm Tim.
And we'll see everyone next time. See ya.
See ya.
Yes.